is what's going to happen tomorrow. So that's a strategy. Yeah. So there are strategies everywhere from £50 a week up to £100 million, and they're different. They range differently from everyone, but and from country to country. To be fair, different countries have different tax laws, so different vehicles. But from your point of view, at the sort of normal end, I'm not going to call it the low end because I'm in that boat as well. It's as tax efficient as you can get it. That's where you start. You use all the tax efficiencies and then you step up into different things.
Welcome back to the show. It's your girl Sarah right here on the Sunrise, and I'm super excited to be here on this beautiful Thursday morning. All right, now the time for you is exactly 8 a.m. here in England, and obviously that means I will be here only for an hour more because I'm going to leave at 9 a.m. But until then, I will keep you company, and you don't have to worry because Jamie will be there after that to keep talking to you about all of these things that are happening in the world, to make sure you are informed and updated about everything that happens, not just here in the UK, but in fact all over the entire world as well, right? Now, if you're someone who loves to stay updated, if you're someone who loves to be informed about everything that happens in the world, then the best way for you to do that is to in fact be a part of Relaks Radio. All right, now the reason I'm saying that obviously is because here at Relaks Radio we talk about everything, and when I say everything, I mean literally everything. We talk about science, sports, health, technology, environment, whatever it is that you are interested in, we talk about everything. All right, so make sure you stay tuned. Make sure you are tuned into Relaks Radio, because that way you can actually make sure that you're always informed and updated about the very latest in the UK, but in fact in the entire world as well. So don't forget to do that. And the best way for you to actually do that is to follow us on our socials. Now you can like us on Facebook and follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. That way you can actually make sure that you're always informed and you're always updated about the very latest in the world. All right. Something else you can do actually is to download our app, which is available on both the Apple App Store and the Google Play Store, which means you can listen in from either your iOS device or your Android device from anywhere in the world at any time of the day. And honestly, in my opinion, I don't think it gets any better than that. So don't forget to do that. Don't forget to don't forget to go download the app, follow us on our socials, and get in touch with me, because you can text me on 078-5247-3473. Share your thoughts with me, share your opinions with me, because I would love to hear whatever it is that you have to say. All right, now let's actually head back into our conversation, which is basically about how have people reacted to the news of them getting vaccinated. Right now, this is actually Newton's third law. Every action has an equal and opposite reaction, right? So when they said that they were going to actually have they were going to make vaccination available for people over the ages of or rather people of the ages of 16 and 17, what kind of reaction did it actually have, right? That's what I'm going to be talking to you about. What kind of reaction did they have from people between this age? Now, most of the reactions seem to be very, very positive, right? And the reason it seemed to be very positive was because a lot of them said, look, I would go get the vaccine because, to be quite honest, it is younger people nowadays that are going out, right? And this is, one of the thoughts I had as well. It actually makes a lot of sense to vaccinate younger children, because younger children tend to go out more often than older people do, right? So in that case, the people who are at risk in that perspective is in fact younger children, because the more they go out, the more chance, the more risk they have of actually contracting the disease. And because they haven't been vaccinated until now, and now only this the thinking of vaccinating 16 and 17-year-olds, mind you, it can actually mean that they will be much safer, and that means they can finally get back to normal, right? Which is what a lot of people had to say. Now, these are children between the ages of 16 and 17. And usually when you're 16, 17, this is the time you sort of go out with your friends, you go on dates, you basically do all these things that you do as a teenager, right? And most of the time you just tend to go out a lot because that's what being a teenager is all about, right? So a lot of them said, look, this finally means I can go to this finally means I can go out, and this finally means I can enjoy myself, and things can actually get back to normal, right? But also it means that they can get back to school and get back on with their education, something that they have missed for the past 1.5 years because of the pandemic. So that's important to keep in mind as well, because we need to understand and we need to keep in mind how much that has actually changed the dynamics, how much the pandemic has changed the dynamics of how we actually function. All right. Now, like I said, a lot of them reacted positively, but there was also, some people who said, look, ultimately, at the end of the day, you can't force someone to go get a vaccine. It's a personal choice. So if you want to go get the vaccine, you can go get the vaccine, but in no way can they actually force you to go get the vaccine. All right. So basically, that's how it works, right? And ultimately, there's a truth to it as well. You can't force someone to go get the vaccine, but obviously it's going to be much, much helpful and much, much better if people can actually get that vaccine. All right. So that's important to keep in mind as well. But before we actually head into our conversation, I want to very quickly, remind you that you can text me on 078-52473473. Get in touch with me, share your thoughts and your opinions with me, because I want to know what you're thinking. I want to know how you feel about this. All right. Now, I also want to talk a little bit about some things that the officials have said, so we can really understand the person's situation, right? Now, while COVID-19 is typically mild or asymptomatic in most young people, it can be very, very unpleasant for some, and for this particular age group, right? So they're expecting one dose of the vaccine to actually provide good protection against severe illness and hospitalization. Now, this was actually what the chair of the group's COVID-19 subcommittee, Professor Vaishan Lim, actually said. And this change also comes 2 weeks after the body recommended against routine vaccination of children. And they, so this is actually them, saying, okay, look, we changed our mind, because the evidence that we're seeing right now might actually be, it could possibly save lives, right? So we're going to go ahead with that and make sure that everyone is safe, right? So that's what I said. These changes that I'm making, these things that I'm saying right now, actually comes 2 weeks after the body recommended against the routine vaccination of children, and said that jabs for over 12 should be limited to those who are clinically vulnerable or lived with someone at risk. All right. Now, ministers are to accept the recommendation, and the NHS will soon be instructed to start giving first doses of the Pfizer or the BioNTech vaccine to about 1.4 million children. All right, now make sure you stay tuned, because right now we're going to head into a small break, and after that we will be back to keep talking more about this. But obviously, until then, make sure you stay tuned.
Again, but now, if you say to a child, if I went up to a child and said, "You've had one to forget," God, there'd be an inquest. Me, why did you reject my son? Well, I haven't rejected your son.
I want to talk about, how the generation gap, has how much it's changed, especially when you check the youth nowadays in comparison, to people back in the day.
I'd say when I was younger, it was more disciplined. Not now.
In comparison to now.
Not at all. Not now. The way things are. Nowadays, the younger generation, you seem that they can't accept the word no, if that makes sense.
They can't accept rejection, essentially, is what you're trying to say.
Yeah, they can't accept the word no. So if you, how did I do? Or you didn't do very well, and they get upset, And when I was a youngster, my father used to say to me, because I used to be sport mad when I was very young. I still am sport mad, but like participating in different sports. And if I had a bad game, for example, he might say to me, "You had one to forget."
That's it. Your dad sounds like a smart guy. I mean, that's the real fact of the matter. Yeah.
He'd say to me, "You had one to forget. Get over it," and that was it. So I dust myself down and do it again. But now, if you say to a child, if I went up to a child and said, "You've had one to forget," God, there'd be an inquest. An inquest. left for me. Why did you reject my son? Oh, I haven't rejected your son. Or daughter. I've just told them that they need to buck their ideas up.
That's the truth right there. I mean, if you think about it, if you check the generations, like right now in the US as well, I've seen a lot of these things as well. In the UK, you get medals for participation. But what's the point? What are you trying to? Yeah, what's the point? Either you win or you lose. People are so afraid to put that whole notion of losing. When it comes to right now, the generation gap is just crazy. How much a lot has changed. Social media has taken control of our lives, and we don't even realize it anymore. We're crippled because of it.
That's absolutely right, Nick. Because, as you said, nowadays it seems that you get rewarded for failure. For the life of me, Nick, I can't get my head around that. Perhaps I'm just getting old and morbid. I don't know. I just can't get my head around how you could be rewarded for failure.
Welcome back to the show. It's your girl Sarah right here on Relax Radio. Now I'm super excited to be here on this beautiful Thursday morning to keep you company, to have amazing conversation with you, because obviously that is what I am here for. All right, now I know it's about 8:10 a.m. right now, and I'm here to make sure that I give you the most positive news and help you understand the most positive news as well. So make sure you stay tuned, all right, because I'm here to share all of that with you, and I want to make sure that you're always updated and informed about the very latest that happens, not just here in the United Kingdom, but in fact all over the entire world as well. All right, now before we head into our conversation, I want to very quickly remind you that you can get in touch with me. All you need to do is just text me on 07852473473. Share your thoughts with me, share your opinions with me, share whatever it is that you're thinking right now, because I want to make sure that I'm keeping you updated and I'm making sure that you're always aware about the very latest that happens, not just here in the United Kingdom, but in fact all over the entire world as well. All right. I haven't said that. Don't forget to like us on Facebook and follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok, because that way you can actually make sure that you're always informed and you're always updated with the very latest in science, technology, health, environment, politics, whatever it is that you want to stay informed about. All right. So don't forget to do that. And don't forget to download our app either, which is available on both the Apple App Store and the Google Play Store. That way you can actually make sure that you are always informed and that you always have the very best information at your hands. Okay, and that it also means you can join into the conversation live, so I don't think it gets any better than that. So don't forget to download our app, because it's accessible on both Apple and Android devices as well. Okay, so don't forget to do that. Now let's actually get back into our conversation, because like I said, it's important for us to know everything that is there, for us to be aware of everything, all the information that is available before we actually go ahead and confirm the need to get the vaccine. All right, now the deputy chief medical officer, who happens to be Professor Jonathan Van Tam, actually said that the program would not start immediately. All right, children are going to start going back to colleges and the sixth forms from September, and in Scotland that will be slightly earlier, so there is no time to waste in getting on with this, right? And he basically said that they need to proceed as soon as they can, because they need to make sure that everyone is vaccinated by the time all of this is over. All right. Now, obviously, it doesn't mean that they're going to start vaccinating people tomorrow, but with time, eventually, as soon as they possibly can, they will start. They will basically start vaccinating young children as soon as they can. Now, vaccinations for healthy 12 to 15-year-olds will not be recommended in this phase. That advice could actually change in the coming months as more evidence is studied. Now, the Health Secretary Sajid Javid also has said that he asked the NHS to prepare to vaccinate those eligible as soon as possible, right? Which means that the health secretary, the government, everyone in this country basically wants to make sure that the vaccination drive happens as soon as possible, that we try and get more people vaccinated and make sure that all of these people can actually make sure that all of these people can actually be a part of the vaccination drive and help in slowing down the spread of the infection, and make sure that our lives get back to normal as much as possible. All right, that's what we have to keep in mind as well. Now, he also said that the Joint Committee on Vaccination and Immunization would continue to review data and provide updates if more age groups would be added to if more age groups would actually be added to the recommendations. So basically, he said that he encourages everyone who is eligible to come forward to get their jabs as quickly as possible, because that way they can actually make sure that a lot of people are protected and a lot of them are safe. All right. And this also means that with all the positive reactions that we're having from the 16 and 17-year-olds, we might also be able to battle a little bit of that vaccine hesitancy that exists in terms of younger children. Vaccine hesitancy that exists in terms of not younger children, but rather younger people who are refusing, or rather reluctant and hesitant to go get the vaccine. All right. Now, in terms of consent, something else we need to keep in mind is that a person who's actually above 16 years is kind of deemed able to consent for themselves. It's not even kind of, but they are deemed able to consent for themselves, right? So in terms of consent, I know that's a whole other conversation, but with time we'll see how this process goes. Let's see how let's see the new information and the new evidence that comes to light, and that way we can actually move forward in the vaccination drive. We can move forward and make sure that more people are vaccinated, that we're moving forward with the vaccination drive and making sure that everyone is safe and protected. Now, make sure you stay tuned, because I will be back here in a few more minutes, but until then, you've got to stay tuned, because I'm gonna head out of here, but I will be back in a few more minutes to talk to you with regard to how immunity has been improved with the vaccines with HEBA. So until then, make sure you stay